You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News Brief for Friday, January 11th, 2019. First of all, today we have a story from Breitbart. Gavin Newsom's first act as California governor. Can you guess? More healthcare for illegal aliens. Look at how proud he is. Finally. Jerry finally let him in. Moonbeam finally stepped aside. California Governor Gavin Newsom's first act in office was to propose extending state health care benefits to more illegal aliens. On Tuesday, shortly after being sworn in, Newsom, who ran on the proposal of providing health care to everyone in California, though he struggled to explain how he would pay for it, signed an executive order taking steps in that direction. In his first executive order, Newsom directed the state to create a single government purchaser for prescription drugs to increase negotiating leverage with pharmaceutical companies. Alongside the order, Newsom proposed extending Medi-Cal, the state's version of Medicaid, to illegal aliens up to the age of 26 rather than 19. The governor's forthcoming budget, his office said, will make California the first state in the nation to cover young, undocumented adults through a state Medicaid program. I'd be real interested to see what age they allow actual residents of the state to receive Medicaid up to. Is it 26 or is it 19? That would cover 138,000 young people in the country illegally, according to the Associated Press. Undocumented young adults should not have to worry about losing their health coverage when they turn 19. What about documented people living in the state? The governor's office added, saying that the budget proposals to be presented later this week would defend Obamacare from recent federal attacks and bring the state closer toward the goal of health care for all. In his inaugural address, Newsom promised sanctuary to all who seek it, even murderers, a reference to California's state as a sanctuary state for illegal aliens that refuse to help enforce federal immigration law. Law being the operative word. That policy continues to be a lightning rod for national criticism after the murder last month of Corporal Ronil Singh, a legal immigrant and police officer who was allegedly shot and killed by an illegal alien during a traffic stop. Only allegedly because he has not yet been tried and convicted, but he will be. In addition, Newsom's new budget proposes increasing the size of the subsidies for families who already receive it. And it would make California the first state to make subsidies available to middle-income families, his office said. To pay for the expansion of those benefits, Newsom is proposing that California restore the individual mandate to purchase health care insurance, which was canceled by President Donald Trump at the federal level. Schumer also sent a letter to President Trump and to congressional leaders asking for legislative changes that he argues would make it easier for states, including California, to develop a single-payer health care system. Well, if California's budget's not in bad enough shape already, this is certainly going to add to their problems, their growing list of problems. California is in a bad situation, okay? They don't have enough money to do what they're trying to do right now, all right? Between looting and pillaging and then all the fires and all of the budget shortfalls they have currently, all the poop on the streets in San Francisco and Los Angeles. I used to live in San Diego. Down in San Diego, I was really surprised when I moved out there. This was in 2000. And I'm driving down the street, and some guy just drops his pants and goes to the bathroom on the curb. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" If it was that bad back then I can only imagine the state California is in now. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now, as we all know, Trump spent a good portion of the day yesterday at the border. Let's take a look as he is speaking with some Border Patrol agents on what they have been doing this year.
So far, this sector has apprehended folks from 41 different countries. Just yesterday, we apprehended 133 people from countries other than Central America and Mexico. That includes individuals from India, Pakistan, China, Romania, Ecuador, Nicaragua, on and on and on. And so I know we keep talking about the family units and unaccompanied children, and that makes up about typically about 60–70%. We've seen a change over the last couple of weeks where that number is less than 50% of the apprehensions we make here in South Texas. So South Texas continues to lead the country in apprehensions as well as marijuana seizures in between the ports of entry. And so CBP and DHS are committed to both our border security mission as well as our humanitarian mission. Mr. President, Senators, we couldn't do it without your support. We really appreciate you coming down here. It means an awful lot to the men and women of DHS, CBP, the Border Patrol, our local law enforcement community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Listen to that, straight from the horse's mouth. This is not an issue of race. This is an issue of sovereignty, okay? It is most certainly a humanitarian crisis, but this is an issue of people coming from all across the globe attempting to enter our country illegally, all right? We need the border wall built because we need to protect our borders. Without it, there are no borders, and people from anywhere can just stream right through. And who knows what the intentions of those people were. Perhaps many of them wanted to just get into the United States to attempt to make a better life for themselves. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're not willing to follow the rules, to come into our country in the way that you're supposed to, then you don't deserve to be here. Send them back home. Come on back in a legal fashion. All right, guys, next, I have a really inspirational message for you from Candace Owens. Now, this is from November, but it still holds just as much truth today as it did then. Now, you guys know who watches my channel? Patriots watch my channel. Not only Americans, but people who are patriotic and who understand the importance of sovereignty, all right? And that means people of all races, all religions, all creeds, all colors. It doesn't matter. All right, America is for Americans, and it doesn't matter what else defines you. If you're an American and you are here as a sovereign citizen, you have the right to be protected under the laws of that nation. All right, and those who would tell you otherwise do not care about Americans. All right, now Candace Owens has a very specific message here for her people.
Black lives have never, ever, ever mattered to the Democrat Party. Black votes always have. They have created systems that we cannot get out of. The welfare system was meant to do what it has done to our families. It has decimated our communities. The single motherhood rate in the 1960s was at 23%. Today, the single motherhood rate is 74% in the black community. They incentivized that. They removed the black father from the home because they knew that once you break down the family, you can control the youth that are growing up. They gave us hip-hop. They gave us the media. They didn't give us the facts. They lied to us in school. They told us that the Republican and the Democrat Party switched. That never happened, okay? One person switched parties. Nobody else did. They create this narrative every 4 years that the Republicans are racist. They try to scare us. Are we such punks that we are so scared to try something different because every 4 years they knock for our votes and they say, vote for us because the other guy's racist. Vote for us because the other person is racist. It is time for us to stand up for our community boldly, to look the Democrat Party in the eye and to tell them that you are going to fight for our votes. This is the time for us to stand up in our communities and to fix them, to stand next to one another. Words like Uncle Tom, house Negroes, house slaves, those were created by leftists to make sure that we are constantly at war with one another. It is time for us to stand up against that and to stand together. This is our time. Make America great again is for us too. We are Americans first and foremost. We have been in this country since 1619, before any other immigrant group. When he says he's going to make America great, I don't get scared because I'm about as American as it gets.
Thank you, Candace Owens. I could not have said it better, all right? And you know what? It's not just black America that the Democrats have decimated. It is all of America that the Democrats have decimated, but they have done it one group at a time, all right? Slowly and pervasively, going through, running that thread through the eye of the needle, and destroying the culture that we have, our collective culture and our individual cultures, our individual family units and our collective family, okay? The Democrats need to be stopped, all right? This tactic by the deep state must be stopped. We must honor life. We must find it precious. We must cherish it. And we also must work together, all right? Separately, but together, all right? We have to do our own work on our own. And then we need to come together as a people, as a country, whole group of citizenry. That's what's important. That's what's at stake here, is the very identity of our nation and the sovereignty of our land. Now, in some extremely tragic news from big league politics, family of the man who Shaun King falsely accused of killing Jasmine Barnes is now receiving threats of torture, rape, and murder. The family of the white man, whom Black Lives Matter huckster Shaun King falsely named as a suspect in the killing of 7-year-old Houston girl Jasmine Barnes, is receiving torture, rape, and death threats. I hear someone is going to rape, torture, and murder the women and children in your family, Haley Cantrell reportedly said, reading from comments directed towards her family online. King posted a photo of a suspect sketch, which looked surprisingly like Stormy Daniels' ex-husband, which King assumed from tips sent to him was Haley's uncle, Robert Cantrell. The sketch was posted to King's Twitter account, which has 1.1 million followers, naming Cantrell as the suspect in Barnes's murder. We've had 20 people call or email us and say he is a racist, violent expletive, and always has been. Just tell me everything you know, King wrote in a Twitter post that accompanied the photo. The tweet has now been deleted, and 2 African-American suspects are in custody. Eric Black Jr., 20, has been charged for the murder. But that has not stopped the internet mob, led by King, from attacking the Cantrell family. I just want everyone to back off. The truth is out. It had nothing to do with us, nothing to do with my uncle at all, said Haley, according to the report. King has been remorseless, failing to apologize for his massive gaffe. Big League Politics reported, King remained remorseless about unleashing an angry social justice mob to exact vigilante justice against an innocent white man, which could have easily led to bodily harm for a person who turned out to be an innocent bystander. He offered an explanation on his Instagram account, a diatribe that amounts to him admitting that he was wrong, which we already knew, but he did not offer an apology. CNN praised him for his help in finding the killer in an article billing King as a hero. 2 days after Jasmine's death, King turned to his legion of Twitter followers to enlist their help in finding her killer and offered a $25,000 reward for the information, the piece said. The known fake news network has made no mention that King directed his followers to find an innocent white man, or that King only involved himself in this particular homicide because white-on-black crime bolsters his business of anti-white hatred. King, who is actually a white man, profits off his activism in the Black Lives Matter movement. He claimed his father was black until a news network obtained the document which says that his father was white. He then claimed that the man listed on his birth certificate is not his biological father. Well, Talcum X himself, once again, stirring up racial hatred where there absolutely was no need for any. We still don't know if the mother of the slain girl actually really was very closely associated with the man who killed her, but the very fact that they were friends on Facebook is fairly damning evidence. I know that a lot of people will get Facebook friends just to accumulate Facebook friends, but I'd really like to know exactly what happened because that little girl did not deserve it. But once again, here is Talcum X. Just brief. Well, it's been all over Twitter tonight that sources are saying Ruth Bader Ginsburg is set to retire tomorrow. So in light of that, I have a story here from The Week. The White House is reportedly readying to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As reported at 3:18 this afternoon, the White House is already preparing for another possible Supreme Court showdown, one that may or may not even take place anytime soon. Politico reported Thursday that the White House counsel's office, with the help of some Senate Judiciary Committee aides, has been assembling a shortlist of potential nominees to the Supreme Court should Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat open up, either because of her death or her retirement. Ginsburg, who had cancerous growths removed from her lungs last month, on Monday missed a day of oral arguments for the first time since she was appointed in 1993, and the White House apparently wasted no time, as Political source puts it, taking the temperature on replacements. The Supreme Court said after Ginsburg's surgery in December, there was no evidence of any remaining disease, despite the fact that this is the third time she's faced it. The White House's shortlist reportedly includes some names that were considered for the seat that ultimately was filled by Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, including Judge Amy Coney Barrett. The process, however, is happening very quietly, a source told Politico. Should Ginsburg actually create a vacancy, this would be President Trump's third appointment to the Supreme Court. Ginsburg said in January 2018, per the Los Angeles Times, "As long as I can do the job full steam, I will be here." Now, with this report coming out, Ginsburg has missed the fourth day of arguments today. Today is Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. First time in history. It sure looks to me like President Trump is going to have the opportunity to fill a third vacancy on this Supreme Court. And when that happens, we are going to have a firm majority. Well, friends, that's about it for this day's news brief. Thank you once again for joining me. I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector, and this was Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.